Part 2 of my little spring development project. Let's get into it. We got quite a bit to do.
Dirty work first. It's cleanup time. For the past week, I've been pumping water into this hole, stirring up bentonite clay, trying to seal up cracks and leaks. You can see that in this inset video. I'm digging out some of this sludge, bentonite, and silt from the back of the hole. That's where the water flows in. I also need some more holes in my well casing. They need to be lower to access the water in dry conditions. And yes, I did pick up all my plastic shavings. Now I'm adding more bentonite clay around my plastic dam. I did grout this in with cement, but I did have a few leaks around it. This should seal it up. If you missed video part 1 of this project, you can use this link to jump back. I'm packing this clay in tight. I'm also going to smear it up on that gravel wall, kind of like stucco. Both sides. That's looking real nice. Sodium bentonite's good stuff. We also use it for sealing stock tanks. Pumping water into this well over and over last week has filled this casing with a lot of debris, sludge. I'm going to clean it out with these post hole diggers. Well, maybe not. This stuff's the consistency of tomato soup.
That's not going to work. Got another idea.
That'll clean out my well casing. This is a lot funner too. The next morning, cool, foggy, and time for rocks. I was going to use a pile of river rock gravel that's been sitting in the ranch yard for about 20 years. It just wasn't enough material. It was also very dirty. I think these natural sandstone cobbles are going to work great. Thousands of years of floods have washed these sandstone blocks out of the hills and deposited them in gravel bars down here in the Arroyo. They're flat, chunky, and irregular. That'll leave a lot of spaces and voids for water in the well. Small stones on the right to fill the well, and large stones on the left. Those will be for the decorative rock wall. Watch that camera, Herb. A slow go at this rock work at first. I got to pack it around this well casing and be careful not to break the pipe. Can't throw these rocks in yet. Getting there slowly. Time for another load of rocks. I've made progress and gotten away from that well casing. Things are going a lot faster now, just throwing rocks in. I'm going to blast the sludge out of here one last time and rinse the rocks.
Well, that's where we're at. I'm going to need some more of those big rocks. Then we'll put in our plumbing and our hand pump. I've got my pipe or well casing all cleaned out. Water's settling into those rocks. I need more to go up around that dam. I do have a trench for my plumbing, and things are sealed up nicely. I don't see any leaks. We're also going to build a rock wall in front of that plastic dam. It'll match that one. When I build that rock wall in front of this plastic dam, I'll leave a gap here and I'll grout that in with concrete. I did get quite a bit of business for using plastic in the landscape. I'm not a materials engineer, but I don't think this interior liner inside my dam encased in concrete and rock is going to hurt the environment much at all. This is my spring development project. When you develop your spring, you can have it your way. So why am I developing this little spring or seep on the ranch anyway? The ranch is not off-grid. Our main water supply comes from deep wells, powered by electricity and delivered in pipelines. If you've seen the movie Step Brothers, you'll remember Dude's Beat Laboratory, spare bedroom where he kept his drum set. I'm not into drums, but I like to think of this section of Arroyo as my permaculture
and self-sufficiency laboratory. Catch and soak ponds upstream, an off-grid garden irrigated by an old windmill, and storage tank on top of the hill. The old mill sits on top of an old, hand-dug well that's part of the same groundwater system as the spring. I guess you could call me a water and garden nerd. This is the stuff I love. Now, back to the project.
The water is cleaned and settled. The water on this side in the spring setup is about 12 inches higher than the water in the pond. This seems to be the natural groundwater level at this time. That groundwater level will raise and lower in times of flood, in times of drought. I am going to put more rocks in here. And here's what the well casing is looking like. This is going to be for my hand pump. It's deeper than the rocks. There's probably about 15 inches of water in there. Time to build all the plumbing for the spring project. Here's the materials and tools we'll be using. 3/4 inch and 1/2 inch PVC pipe, schedule 40. We'll need a drill and hole saws, pipe dope, thread tape, PVC primer, and cement. 3 1/2 inch caps, 1/2 inch male adapters, 3/4 inch male adapters, 3 bulkhead fittings, 1 T 3/4, and 2 elbows 3/4. Our PVC pipes will fit in here. 60 inch with holes, 24 inch with no holes. Let's get to it.
These holes are about 1/8 inch in diameter. They're going to feed water into the pipe that'll drip into the spring pond.
I'm only going to put holes on 2 sides. The pipe's going to sit in the ground like this. Maybe this will help keep dirt out of the top, and the bottom will keep water flowing along the pipe. Now let's put these bulkheads together.
I like to use thread tape and pipe dope on all these threaded connections. I want a good seal, and I've got one chance at this. Once these fittings are buried, encased in concrete and earth, I won't be able to get to them. This little piece will be for the back. It'll tie the feed tubes together and make them easier to deal with. I have 3 feed tubes stacked on top of each other. My idea is to make a groundwater monitoring system. Flow tubes in the ground that will show me the groundwater level. Think of it like a battery charging indicator. If you've never worked with PVC piping before, prime both ends, cement both ends, and then push and hold it together. Before it's set, the pipe likes to push out. All these fittings are kind of fun, a bit like Legos. I used to love Legos as a kid. And now we'll put it all together. Feed tubes, bulkheads, and drain pipes.
Not gluing the caps on. And this will be the plumbing for my little spring project. I'm going to call it my groundwater observation system. Looks like that's the hole saw I want, 3/4. Let's go down to the spring and pond and put in this plumbing.
Remember, Herb, measure twice, cut once. You got one chance at this. Three holes, evenly spaced, about 4 inches on center. The bottom one's in the water. After floods or in wet conditions, the groundwater table will rise and water will drip out of the top holes. These drain tubes will get secured and sealed with these bulkhead fittings. They have rubber washers. Nice and tight. Now I'm stacking rocks to hold up these feed tubes. I want a little bit of a slope, a little bit of a drain into the pond. Don't mind saying so myself. That's looking real nice. Now I'll take my time, stack and fit these rocks carefully around the pipes, kind of like a puzzle. Removable caps, and that's my groundwater observation system.
And that's a wrap for part 2 of this spring project. Check in about a week or so to catch part 3. We'll finish the decorative rock wall, cover this rock well with landscape fabric and backfill. Then we'll install our hand pump. I'll see you next time at the Windmill Garden.